Hello everyone, Anand back again. I hope all of you are doing well. I think the second wave is steeply coming down. The curve is coming down Chennai and other places. A long way to go. Government is taking good step across the country and individual states. So let's cooperate. Well, friends, today my topic is about wealth and knowledge and what is the secret of connecting this, how the whole paradigm of wealth creation happening, and whether we need to build wealth through only knowledge, or is there any ways where we can explore the possibility and maximize our potential. All these questions are generally will be there for many people, especially when we start working. By the time we hit, let's say, 24 25 years, and we will look at the entire job or profession in a completely different manner. A thought will come. In my days of younger years, we used to have a conversation like by the age of 40, we should be completely financially free and do whatever we like. Those discussions still prevails. I think many people, even now, people talk about it. But I don't know what the age of 25, 30 years youngsters would be talking about this concept. Probably they would have reduced another 5 years. They would say by 35 I should be free, something like that. But it is not applicable or possible for everybody, right? There are only few industries where the yearly CTC or the earning potential is so high, because the start of the salary itself is so high, so they will be able to think all these areas. But people who are just a graduate working in a non-attractive companies, like non-attractive sectors, like no IT or no big multinationals, but working in a private organization, a mediocre organization, MSMEs, where the employees never even able to think about financial freedom at the age of 40. However, this podcast is to express my thoughts, my views. Probably, I would say, with a little disclaimer, my assumptions too. It's not that you have to take it for granted. Maybe some assumptions you need to evaluate and take the merit out of it, and then probably you can decide with your own, judgment. I look at this way when it comes to wealth creation. People say the financial planners, certified financial planners, advisors, they say you have to save money. At the young age, you have to save 30 to 40% of your salary. And they also say not just mere saving, you need to move towards investments where you can start SIP, systematic investment plan, or invest in mutual funds, bonds, government bonds, and you have to have asset classes like gold. You can buy gold, and you can buy properties like real estate, buy some grounds or a flat, depending upon our salary remuneration or the revenue that we generate. So there are multiple asset classes, like generally people say real estate, gold, mutual fund, share market, investments, SIPs, all that. But the first question comes to any of the newly career started youngsters is, where is the money? First of all, I need to have money. Then only I can start, thinking about how to save. Okay, there are experts in YouTube channel always say, even if you draw 10,000 rupees, you should save 3,000 or 4,000 rupees. Spend only 5,000 to 6,000 rupees. Metropolitan cities like Chennai, big metros like Bombay or Bangalore or everywhere, the saving potential or saving opportunity is much less, because the expenses are very high, the cost of living is high, the life standards that people don't want to compromise, and so on and so forth. It really affects the saving mechanism of the individual. More so, many have their own challenges in the family, like medication to the parents, or upbringing of their youngsters, the sister or brother, taking care of family, big family, more number of head count. There are so many things. Maybe it's some debts in the family that they have to repay. So all these attributes towards a real crunch to save money for the future. So first of all, we need to understand that unless we have money, we can't even think of saving, unless we have sufficient money. When it comes to sufficient money, how does we generate sufficient revenue, income to the family for our future? There are multiple choices, but universally accepted, everybody follows from childhood, is study well and score well, start a good job in a right reputed big organization, so that, as the sentence normally we use in our families in India, life is settled. My little understanding is, this is a tricky word, tricky sentence. There is nothing called life settled. And because most of the employment opportunities today are private, and not that everyone is getting into government jobs, it's pretty less. When it comes to private jobs, it's a private job. There's nothing called definitely you can work for next 30 years, something like that. So anytime, anything can happen. We all know the best of the brains in the world could not anticipate or visualize, predict COVID pandemic. The best of the brains around the world. So there is no fixity, there is no word saying that private job is secured. So no job is secured. As long as you produce results, be effective according to the norms of the organization and expectation of the management, you can continue to work. If not, irrespective of your number of years of experience or skills or knowledge, if that doesn't really meet the expectations or the management's need, obviously people lose job, or people even quit job. Why only they lose job? They even quit job. I am not fit into your scheme of things, or you are not fit into my scheme of things, so they just part. So they go for another job, or they start searching for a new job. That is how the whole thing happens, which all of us know. But the question here is, it is not just about the qualification matters. What matters is the skill matters, as all of us know. That is why people say it's all about skill economy. It is not about knowledge economy. It is not about information economy. It is about skill economy. Skill decides your stay. When it comes to skill, in my little understanding in the corporate world and also in the entrepreneurial journey for last 22 years or 22 plus years, I found that the employee or the person who has entrepreneurial attitude is able to survive much better than just a knowledgeable individual. How much ever knowledge we have, how much ever we are competent with our knowledge, if those knowledge are not converted into skill for the organization's need or the role that they give to you, and if you don't fulfill that role with your skill, obviously they'll say, okay, he is intelligent but he is not effective. Many organizations, I used to sit in the board as a business advisor, we evaluate, we talk. We found that somebody is not really fit into the scheme of things. The skill is missing. The demonstration of skill is missing for that particular role. It is not about the person's, it's a problem of the person, it is a problem of the role itself, that it is not really matching the person's potential or person's skill set. So it's more than knowledge, skill matters. The demonstration of skill matters much more. Here comes what we call, there is an hybrid word, I would say, not that you can become an entrepreneur, but you can become intrapreneur. I am an activist on entrepreneurship for a long time. I've been I interacted with the author of, or rather father of entrepreneurship in US. Gifford Pinchard III is an author, he's a writer, professor, who actually coined this word intrapreneurship way back in 1974. And he is in US now. I had an opportunity to interact with him a couple of times about how to take this intrapreneurship concept to the executives of organizations, working class, so that they can also build their the potential, build their skills, build their way of working in the organization as an entrepreneur. But actually they are not entrepreneur, because entrepreneur is the one who takes risk, who invests money, who runs the business. Employee who joins there, they are not just employees, but they are actually entrepreneur. They think like entrepreneur, but work like an executive, brings convergence of what is expected out of them as an entrepreneur. This mindset can create a huge opportunity in an organization for people to earn more. I'll come to the point straight away with an answer, with an insight for you to be able to explore further. If you are a person who has been given one task and you are managing those tasks for which you are being paid, and if you go back to your management or a manager saying that, so far you have given this task, I've been doing it, I would like to spend additional 1 hour, or I would like to squeeze my time from existing hours of 8 hours or 10 hours, I would be able to handle ABC other task and produce better impact in the organization. So would you like to give it to me? If I am able to handle and produce results, would you be able to pay me additional income, the appraisal or additional income or incentives or whatever you call, profit sharing or whatever. The more you start deliberating this and go back to him and go back to the management and discuss this, what happens is you are actually showing up your intrapreneurial capabilities. They don't look at anymore just an employee. They look at you completely different. They'll put you in a different sphere altogether, and the life will become completely transformed. This has happened for many people, and I have experienced it personally too. So even if you are working in an organization, you can become an entrepreneur and you can increase your earning potential, say maybe 20% more, depending upon the organization, depending upon the project that you do, depending upon the impact that you create in the organization. What happens? The earning comes. When the earning comes, you can as well go to the financial planner or financial advisor. They will tell you, okay, you can invest here, invest there, invest there. Today all of us are educated, so basic awareness already there. It's only question of fine tuning to our financial goals that we have, certain discipline that we need to bring in, and everything will become your own history in life down the line. In some way, in small little way, I have experienced this in myself. It has produced better impact in my way of working in the organization. And also when I started my own venture, it really helped. And I also propagate this knowledge or information to many people so that everybody gets benefited. After all, we need to rise up our middle income salary society to upper middle class, so that we can lift the poor becomes middle class and no poor class in the country. So all of us have to work towards raising the earning potential for everyone in the country across the nation, so that India can become really superpower economically too. I hope this is kind of little support to you. Those who are already expert in this, yes, you can share your feedback or you can share your thoughts, your value addition to this in your podcast or in your WhatsApp share or wherever. And if you like it, you can also share it with your friends and families. Wish you all economically strong and improve your quality of life and standard of life
as the day comes. Take extra care in this pandemic. Let's bounce back. Thank you very much for your listening. Bye bye.